everybody. It's Tanya Smith here with Stream Like a Boss TV and Get Noticed with Video. Look, tonight is our final episode of Live Stream Summer School. So you won't see the Live Stream Summer School registration link at the top because this is it. But if you do want to go and check out the full playlist, feel free to go to the link that you see at the very top. TanyaSmith.live will take you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is where I actually go live every Thursday anyway, except we're going to take a little bit of a break this week on Thursday because it's been a long summer. We've been delivering live stream summer school to help those of you who are service providers learn how to leverage live stream marketing by using different platforms. So I've taken Mondays in the month of July and June to talk about overviews of all of the different streaming platforms I'm familiar with, and there's a lot. And I've given you the pros and cons, I've given you the ins and outs, and made sure that you know what I really, really think about each and every one of those. I actually do have one more review or video that I need to deliver for you this week, and it's going to be on the one we talked about last week. OneStream Live has come out or will be coming out with their refresh starting tomorrow, August 1st. So I'll make sure to jump on live tomorrow and I'll let you know what time towards the end. But tonight we're going to focus on Ecamm Live. So I am super excited and thrilled that I get to talk about my favorite. This one actually is my favorite. This is my go-to now when it comes to streaming platforms. But there's some things that you need to know about it. So I made a list of about five things that I definitely want you to know if you're exploring Ecamm Live as a potential platform for your live stream marketing. What's up? Gary Jones in the house. Look, and I forgot to share this. So if you're brand new to the show, I want you to type in hashtag newbie. But if you're an OG like Gary Jones Jr. with the 1R, that's me and Gary. We know this, and other people who have been in the feed. Gary Jones is an OG now because if you've watched us more than once, you're now part of the family, and I welcome you back. If you're brand new, then I welcome you for the first time and hope that you'll stick around and stay with us as we hang out over the coming weeks. So I'm super excited that I also have my friend John Lacey here. What's up? I love it when you all get to come and I get to be here with you live so that we can kind of hang out, right? I love that. I'm going to be talking about Ecamm Live, and I can't do that without a demo. I know, Gary, I'm here to make you laugh and smile. That's my job. I can't do this without a demo. I've been doing a demo of all of the other different types of platforms by using Ecamm Live to actually broadcast or showcase the other ones, but there's a very special feature that you're going to see in just a few minutes inside of Ecamm Live. So before I get... There's my buddy, the honest accomplice, Dan in the house. Hey, OPP, you know me? What's up? Hey, Miss Kimberly G, also another OG. Look, y'all are coming in the house. The house is packed. Yes, it is. I love it. Okay, when I do this demo in just a second, y'all are going to have to forgive me if I mess it up. I'm going to try not to, but this is going to be my first time actually doing a demo of Ecamm inside of Ecamm. It's sort of like Inception style. I'm not the first person to do it or to use it, but it's my first time using it for you. So we're going to check it out. I've cleared everything on my desktop so that you can see exactly what I'm viewing whenever I see my Ecamm Live in the background. And I'm going to walk you through my top 5 things that you need to know about Ecamm. Yeah, exactly. Ecamm Inception. I need like that echo. Inception, 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 right? I'm going to have to get that sound effect soon. All right, y'all. Look, I love it. I love it. I know it is meta, right? So John is an expert with OBS Studio, and he does a lot of really cool and exciting things with OBS Studio. And really, I think there's a lot of cool and exciting things you can do with Ecamm. So I'm going to kind of showcase some of this to you. But what I want you to do first, as always, is to go ahead and grab yourself your favorite hydration, your notepad and your pen. And when you come back, I'm taking you into Ecamm Inception, and we're going to walk you through Ecamm Live and do a demo and talk about the top 5 things that I think you need to know if you're considering the platform for yourself. All right, are we ready? I'll be back on the other side of this video. All righty, folks. So here we go. I'm going to actually pull up what's called live demo mode. I'm laughing because I hope this works. I think it will, but we're going to check it out. So when I do this, here's what I want you to anticipate is that you're going to be able to see my actual dashboard. So everything that I can see, you should be able to see in just a second, okay? Including myself on camera. Here we go. All right. So you should be able to see a pink background. And I'm going to double check over here on my other monitor. I have two other monitors, so I'm going to check and make sure that that's what's showing up so that I can walk you through. I wanted to give you like a really live experience, and I wanted to use it inside or do so inside of Ecamm. So I'm going to double check, but let me know in the comments if you also see this, because if not, I may not have it turned on properly. But I think so. If you all, okay. Phew. Okay, I see it. So what you're looking at is my typical set. So when I'm I'm not just screen sharing, Kimberly G. Look, I'm going to pull up your comment, but you can also see that I'm pulling up your comment, right? So remember I talked about the whole Inception thing? Yes, so much. Sean Lacey, you know it. You know it. He said, shout out to the Barbie movie. We did go see that, by the way. Me and my girls went to see it. And for so many reasons, I did enjoy it. Yes. Okay. Yes, it's a lot of pink because, can you tell? I mean, like I'm fully branded with all it's my thing. And part of it, I'll tell you, from a color scheme scenario, had to do with my brand over the years. I'm just going to say this real quick, and then we're diving into the Ecamm stuff. But you brought it up. So pink has been a transformational color for me. Initially, I started way back when I first started about a decade and a half ago with a really dark burgundy. It was like a dark, dark, dark burgundy red. And then it got brighter and brighter and brighter. And over the years, as I've come more and more out of my shell and gotten more and more confident with who I am and how I do business and just my entire brand, the way that I have transformed over the years has brightened my colors almost on a yearly basis. So if you have studied or followed me for any length of time, you will probably note that transition in my color scheme. It's part of that whole idea of being more bold. And the more mature I get in my business and in my personal life, the more I feel like I can stand out. So I don't know what that transformation is going to look like for you, but it's a part of my story. So I do love this pink now. I embrace it. Okay. And I'm also going to do something else really quick too. Let's make sure we turn it on focus mode because I've got some folks that are pinging. All right, we'll do that. So now let me say this. The first thing you need to know when it comes to Ecamm Live is that this is for a Mac computer. So you cannot use it on a PC. It is designed and intended for Mac. So I know, don't give me all the, why? No, it's not cool. Yeah, I know, because some people are whiny about it. I was whiny about it, but I will tell you probably the third or fourth time I saw someone using Ecamm Live, I still had my PC at the time. And I was really jealous. Like there was big FOMO because I saw all the things that they were capable of doing. Now, all of the other platforms that I've shown you over the last couple of weeks, so during this summer series, all of those things have actually been available for PC users. This particular one is designed only for Mac. So one of the Mac tips I'll share with you is typically, and you can program this, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second, but typically on my Mac, I want to make sure that I have focus mode turned on until the end of the next event. Now, there's another distraction-free mode or something else that you can use on PCs for different platforms, but whenever you go live, you should always make sure that you turn the distractions off. Another thing you should do is to make sure that you pause syncing on platforms or apps like Google Drive or Dropbox, right? And you should always restart your computer to get it clean. Yeah, exactly. And John is so right. He says you got to minimize the distractions no matter what you're using. So when you think about Ecamm and you see how I have this set up, this is set up for my benefit so that I can easily and quickly find the things that I want to find. So number one is that it's a Mac. Number two is that the entire focus of Ecamm Live is that you're able to switch between different scenes. So in order for you to really create this nice quality produced type of live stream, it gives you, if you look over here on this side, it gives you the ability to be able to create scenes for everything that you're doing. So when I switched you from my intro video or my countdown timer rather into what I call a spotlight window into my intro video, and now here, all of these are based on this scene that I've created, okay? And so you'll see this, watch. So when I do that, I'm switching over to a different scene, switching here to a different view, switching here to a different view. All of these different scenes, if we'll call them that, okay? All of these scenes are located here inside of the scenes box. And these various boxes all have different functions. So in order for you to really make sure that your show goes off without a hitch, you need to become very familiar with the setup and the layout of your Ecamm. And there's really endless possibilities. You can do a lot with this, but you need to get to know it and get yourself familiar with the platform, okay? That means playing with it. That means messing up, which I often do. That means making mistakes, but it also means taking the time to really learn it and to understand how to use it. So the second thing, like I said, would be that there are a number of different scenes, and there's also these different boxes or panels that represent different functions. So this one over here is for sound effects. Over here we have my microphone and any other type of audio. So I actually have a Rodecaster Pro that's connected to this. Before that, I was using Wavelink. Before that, I was using, I can't think of what I was using before that, but you don't necessarily have to have a soundboard, is what it's called. You could just use a microphone with Ecamm. It allows you to use whatever mics you would be using for any other platform. But it's so much more powerful when you can use a soundboard or a mixer like a Rodecaster Pro. There are other newer ones that have come out that I've been eyeing, but I'm super happy with the Rodecaster Pro 2 because it has all kinds of functionality that I won't get into for purposes of this. But that's where you'll see this here, so you can see the different sound levels. And when you saw, notice how when I played a sound effect, which I can actually play from my board down here, if I pressed a button. I love the clapping one. I could do that, or I could actually use the sound effects that are actually on screen on my window, right? So it just depends on how you learn and how you want to do things to make it as easy and as simple for you. But it's going to take some practice, and you're going to want to create a layout that makes good sense for you. So for me, I have let's see, my overlays are right here. So some of you have asked me, how are you making those things pop up? Like, how is all this animation showing up, right? It's because these different effects have been added. So this is tip number 3, or thing number 3 that you need to know. This stuff doesn't automatically come with Ecamm Live. A lot of the different graphics and things that you see me putting on, they are because I have purchased them or I have earned them through different, attending different events that are hosted by live streamers. I'm going to share with you in a second a page that's on Ecamm Live's website where you can actually purchase graphic sets. So there's a couple of ways when you're purchasing the different animations, when you're purchasing graphics, or you're creating your own, which you can do as well. One of the things you really need to think about is, what do I want this to look like? How do I want to create the experience for people? So this is not my normal set, if you will. It's not my normal set of graphics and overlays. This is one specifically that I'm using. And you're right, John, I love it. What I love is that this is giving me the ability to be able to create an experience based on the theme of the show. So I created Live Stream Summer School for the summer, and I went out and found a set of graphics on Etsy.com. And these graphics and overlays were actually designed for Twitch users, but they were perfect for my Live Stream Summer School theme. And so I wrote the guy and said, hey, I see that you have this, this, and this in the overlays, but I'm going to be using it for my live stream show on a whole different platform. Can you make a couple of other unique ones for me, but with the same background? And he was able to do that. So the possibilities are endless with what you can create. Think about it. You're having your own TV show? Yes, you can promote different commercials. You can have little 30-second or less than that promotions in between speakers if you're doing a conference. There are a number of different things you can do. You can have intros and outro videos, the same as you can with other streaming platforms, but the way that the transitions take place here inside of Ecamm Live is so smooth. You can do what you call a crossfade, and there's some other things that you can do as well. Yes, it is. I would say, well, let me answer this question real quick. So is it pretty easy to switch scene collections? Yeah. Here, I'll show you something. I'm not going to switch because I don't want this to mess up the demo. But if you can see my window right here where it says profile. So much like, because I've been talking to you all about different platforms every Monday for the last several weeks now, and I always try to compare or show you the comparison between them. So similar to some of the other platforms that have different profiles that you can create. And remember, we've talked about, okay, what if I want to do a show for myself, and this show is going to be my Sunday night, soul music, something or other review. And then on Thursdays, I do a different show, and it's all about kids. And so it has a whole different theme or profile. With all of the other platforms, they have these folders that you can create for each profile or brand. So they can be a totally different set of scenes and imagery and colors and all of that stuff. The same thing applies when you're looking at Ecamm Live. So over here where it says profile, I get a chance to create different profiles. So I do have one strictly for Zoom keynotes. Like if I'm being invited as a guest to someone else's platform, then I'll use that pink black. I have one for guests, so one that's set up with certain overlays that have the number of guests that I'm going to be hosting. So if I'm going to have, for instance, one other person besides myself, then I'll make sure that I create overlays that have enough for 2 people and maybe a comment section, right? If I'm like I've been doing, I've had 2 panels since we've been doing Live Stream Summer School, and those 2 panels each had 4 additional people besides myself. So I had overlays that I was able to create to ensure that each of us showed up. There's a lot more to this, but I'm going to give you the super simplified version. Ecamm fam in the house. What's up, Roy Richardson? Look, I'm super excited because a lot of these folks, a lot of us are going to be meeting together with Ecamm at their creator camp in October. And I can't wait to meet you all in person for the first time because I feel like we're already family. Isn't that cool? Okay, so scenes. I talked about the fact that we have these different layouts and you can have different profiles, right? So all of these things are things that you want to set up, you want to think through, you want to create your layouts. Because you're creating this layout first in your head, you then kind of want to play around with it and make sure it looks proper and it's sized properly on camera so that as you're giving people that experience you want them to have, it shows up the way that you want it to show up. So it takes some intention and some thought. And that's different when you think about the differences between platforms. Some platforms already come with built-in graphics, and there's only so much you can do in terms of versatility. But with Ecamm Live, you can do just about anything you want and truly create a TV or a cinematic experience if that's what you want to do and you're gifted to be able to do that. Now, personally, I actually had, let me see, I wasn't invited to summer camp. You know what? You're always invited to summer camp, sir. Always. I don't know if you put yourself on the guest list at livestreamsummerschool.com. He said, this is a lot like the flow, only without all the creakiness. You're so funny. I love that I've been able to do so much with this. And the thing that I had envisioned with Ecamm Live is that I really, really wanted to create something special. I wanted to create a show that, or not just a show, but an experience where I was teaching and where I could share stories and I can get personal and I can market and sell and also give away things. And this gives you all of that plus some, because you can go live on multiple platforms. So here's another thing I want you to know about it. You can go live on multiple destinations directly from inside of Ecamm. Now, when I first got Ecamm, that wasn't possible. I had to use another platform like OneStream Live or Restream to be able to view that. So I'm going to pop some of these comments up. Here's another thing that I want you to notice as I pop up these comments. So notice how I can change to different scenes, right, that create a different effect for you. So instead of me popping up the big window, I literally can actually showcase the comments right here scrolling across the screen. And whatever is right here in this big window is what people see. The reason why you can see everything right now is because I'm actually delivering this in the live demo mode, which I'll turn off in a second, but I wanted to show you a couple more things. So you can decide. I know it's true. So Roy made the comment, if you're a Mac user, Ecamm Live is the closest you can get to broadcast production without buying crazy amounts of gear. It's super true. And a lot of churches and large organizations use this. And there are people who have made it a career out of becoming remote live producers. Several people that I know are remote live producers, meaning that they're using Ecamm Live to produce someone's show in a whole different state. I've done it actually a couple of times, and then I decided it's not what I want to do. But I have people I can refer to you if you are interested and you need a remote live producer. So there is so much that's available to you. Yeah. Roy, you haven't bought crazy amounts of gear. He said not yet because he doesn't suffer from gear acquisition. We call it gas, y'all. Let me tell y'all what gear acquisition syndrome means, that you want to buy all the things, all the toys. So anytime I see these gentlemen that are in the feed right here, and the ladies too, that are showcasing their newest and latest gear, I'm always like, ooh, I wonder, do I need that? That's gear acquisition syndrome, also known as gas. Funny, huh? So you can do all these different types of things. And here's what I'm going to do. I know. Here's what I'll show you really quickly before I switch this back into another mode. You notice that I had all these different animations and things that I've saved into this particular scene. You can change up. So the way that I have this scene is set up differently than it would be for a different profile and all the scenes within these profiles. When you're doing guest interviews, you're going to want to think through, well, what's the layout need to be? What kind of pop-ups and overlays am I going to want to have? So you literally need to do that or create different experiences based on the number of people you're going to have on and the type of show. Now, if you choose not to, I'll tell you this, you don't necessarily have to have all the fun and funky creative stuff that you see me and a lot of other people that use Ecamm have, because right out of the box, you are still able to do things like add different cameras. You can add multiple cameras. So here, I'll show you what I mean by this. So I'm going to add this one. I'm going to switch it to, I think I have my C922 popped up. So you can do different things with this, right? You can move these windows around and create a whole different experience. I hate that profile. their profile view. But I just want to show you what's possible, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can do with this. You can literally make it look magical, and people are always going to be asking you, well, how do you do that? It's the magic of Ecamm Live. There's another thing I wanted to share with you in here too. When you're going to do interviews, so you're going to turn on your interview block right here. And so when people are showing up in your guest green room, as we call it, you can change different settings so that they can either see the entire broadcast themselves, or they can just see you in the window. There's a number of different preferences that you can select from with guests. But what will happen is when a guest calls in, so you're going to have a secret link that you're going to share with them. And when they call in, that link will lead them into your green room. And so what I've done is I've built that link into my guest interview process. So it's a part of my booking calendar, right? When I have guests that book, just like a podcast, but I'm going to give them or share with them the link for them to be able to knock on the door and be let into the back end of my Ecamm. And you'll see a little phone that looks like it's ringing, and then you can pull those people in. So I will tell you, it gets tricky when you have more than a couple of people, because you want to make sure that your overlays are set up correctly, and that you have, if you're using names, fly-in names and all that kind of stuff, you want to make sure that you have that ready to go. Let me see if there's something I can show you that I have down here. I showed you some of the animations. Here's one that you'll like. Falling dollars, because everybody's trying to win that Mega Millions, right? You could do that. You can also have information, or let me do this. I'm going to write some text across the screen. So just like with the other platforms, this is important for you to know if you're thinking about it, but you can actually have text that you move around. Now, there's one other platform that we explored. Do you remember that was allowing us to move the text around? There's one other one. If anybody remembers, let me know. I know the math one is my favorite. The text that you have going across the screen can either be this way, so it can be static, or you can actually have it as a scrolling ticker. So watch this. I'm going to make it a scrolling ticker, right? And then you can move this where you want it to be. The one other app, I want that too. Okay, Roy, you're making me have FOMO. Insta360 Cam. I think Dr. Elo has that. I'm bringing him back on. I told him he's got to come back. Yes, Wave Video will allow it. Yes, Gary. Oh, didn't mean to do that one. See what I said when I said you can mess up and you will mess up? Now, Wave Video allows you to do that, and there's one other one too, and that's formerly known as Melon, but it's called the Streamlabs Talk Studio app now. We reviewed that early on, and let me go ahead and stop this. In order for you to stop your text from moving or anything from flying across the screen or showing up, when you're down here, you turn the eye, close the eye, put an X through it, and that way it can't be seen anymore. You can also delete. But I would do that in the middle of a show because you might accidentally delete something that you need. You noticed also probably that I have this pop-up lower third that's animated as well. And I believe I created this in Keynote. Yeah, the one that has Video Marketing Coach. I created that in Keynote using a template from Bradley Vinson, whose name I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay, so the math one, I got to do this for my friend. Because, yeah, this is my favorite one. When I'm thinking too hard. It's my favorite. I love it. Now, as I mentioned, all these different animations and graphics, I didn't make them all. I purchased them. Many of them I purchased. So I'm going to switch off demo mode. And if we need to go back into it, I will. But let me switch off demo mode for a second, because I'm going to show you the graphic package page that's on Ecamm right now. And this is a good, I know, this is a good spot for you to go. It's a good starter spot for you to go if you're looking for pre-made, ready to go overlays and graphics, because each of these particular businesses have created sets for you with different colors and different options for you to use them. So I'm going to showcase this real quick for you. This is on the Ecamm Live website, as a matter of fact. So you'll see my link at the bottom to go to Ecamm Live. If you want to test it out and do a trial, you can do that. I know, dude, we got to make more money so we can get more gear money. That's how this works. It's a cycle. It's the circle of life. Okay, let me pop up a bigger window so you can really see this, okay? So this here is the graphics, packages, and overlays page on Ecamm Live's website. So if you go to Ecamm Live, if you go to, here's what you can do. Just type in Google Ecamm Live graphics packages, and you'll find this page. And so there's some of my favorite people that are in here. Anna and Fulgens, they're here, and they're doing this focus on Ecamm Live text overlay hack so they can teach you how to create your own. Or, I know, right? That's cool. Circle of Live. We have got to use this from now on. Roy, that's it. Okay. So they actually teach you how. They have a show that comes on, I think, at least every week, if not more than once a week. And they will teach you actually how to create both vertical and horizontal templates and overlays for Ecamm Live. Bradley Teaches is one of my favorite graphic designers when it comes to Ecamm Live. So he teaches you on his website how to actually use Keynote, which is what I use to create the lower third that I have, right? He also has several overlay packages for sale, so you'll find that on the site. And then here's my all-time favorite, Luria Petrucci at Live Streaming Pros. So Live Streaming Pros, I do want to show you all of the goodies that they have. They have a lot of really cool stuff. So they've got these balloon overlays now. They also have Stream Deck options. So Stream Deck key icons. If you have a Stream Deck, let me show you what a Stream Deck is for those of you who are like, what? What's that mean? So this is my Stream Deck right here. Okay. Can't really see it. Pull it back a little bit. But this is my Stream Deck, and that is basically a programmable tool that you can use so that you can press buttons whenever you're ready to change your scenes, so that you can play sound, so that you can turn your lights on and off. You can get yourself ready for your show just with the click of a button by programming your Stream Deck key. So inside of some of these different graphic packages, you'll find that they have given you icons that so you can have everything just like truly branded if you want to. I love a lot of the different things that they have here. They also have vMix branded assets that you can use. I used to use vMix a while ago. This is an excellent question. Let me answer this question real quick here too. The question is, he said, I love pushing buttons. Yeah, I know, John. Me too. But I want to answer this question. Are the packages editable in Canva? So I would say no, not if they are the animated versions. And by that, I mean, so when you see me popping up my different animations, these GIFs, right? When you see these, some of these are .mov files and some of them are .gif, GIF files. But when you see these popping up, they're not editable in Canva because Canva hasn't progressed that far yet. They're advanced, but not that advanced yet. But many of the things that they'll create for you, you can use straight out of the box. You just drag them into your scenes for Ecamm Live. The other thing, and let me see this. Yeah, and this is exactly right. This is why. So look at John's note. If you want to maintain the transparency of the animation files, you need to use very specific file formats. So Keynote, that's one of the reasons why I loved learning from Bradley, and then also Marshall. And I can't think of Marshall's last name, but he has been a guest on Ecamm frequently, well, infrequently, but I've seen him, and he has his own show on TV, YouTube TV. Marshall Fox, that's it. Marshall teaches, Bradley Vincent teaches. There's a couple of other people that teach this too, but there's certain graphics that you can actually create in Keynote that are animated and will move around and give you the transparency effect. But Canva is going to be somewhat limited with that. So with Canva, you see the background that I have here that looks like the beach thing with the beach hat. That could be created in Canva pretty easily. And a lot of the overlays that are static that do not have animation can be created in Canva. But if you're going to have the movement and the animation, you definitely want to make sure that you are you're either purchasing from someone or you're learning the techniques on how to create. And personally, I don't want to have to create them all, which is why I go find people that love to create them. Yes, exactly. Not buying a back, but I support an individual's right to choose. Exactly. Oh, yes. And thank you, Roy, for saying that. There is an official Stream Deck plugin for Ecamm. That Stream Deck plugin is what allows you to be able to switch between scenes really easily by just clicking buttons. So as you program, see the scenes that I had over to the left of the screen, you can't see it now because I'm not doing demo mode right now, I don't think. But if I were doing demo mode, remember I showed you where all the different scenes were? Those can all be programmed into your Stream Deck by use of the plugin that Roy mentioned. So yeah, there's a lot of functionality, and y'all, I can't, just in this short amount of time, I can't go over everything, but I will tell you a resource that I believe has an excellent method for teaching and training how to use Ecamm Live. So I'll share his link in just a second. Yeah, Stream Deck plugins are great. And I didn't know OBS Studio had one too, but that makes total sense. So if you were to look on this graphics page, you're going to find a lot of, oh, Marshall is there. So Marshall Fox, he has a retro overlay pack and some other packs that are here too. And I'm going to show you something. He had something on there called a LUT, L-U-T, okay? And what this does, without going too in depth and being too technically minded, but right here, what this does is it helps you to improve and enhance the look of your video. So I'm going to show you, because the person who created my graphics for my regular show is JP High Tech. I need to pull up his site as well. So JP High Tech created custom graphics for me because I said, hey, I want my show to look different. I don't want it to be like everyone else's. And of course, he told me, you don't want your show to look like everyone else's. So I hired him to create, he and his team created a custom branded package for me. So that's another option you have if that's something you want to do. Because if you do end up buying pre-made and already ready to go overlays and you're not creating them yourself, a lot of these kits other people have. So you just need to know that and be okay with that if that's fine with you. But if you do want to have them to be fully branded, you should hire a custom designer. And so JP High Tech, who I'll show you real quick, JP High Tech at Perfect Zone Productions is who created mine for me. And I highly recommend him and his team for so many things, all things branding and graphics. But what I loved about him is that he literally sat down with me and said, okay, so what are you trying to create, right? Let's talk about your brand and your colors and what are some of the elements and things that you want to make sure included, and send me your logo so that we can make that pop. But he also then created this LUT. So it is I'll tell you what LUT stands for in a second. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm going to pull it up. If somebody knows in the comments, feel free to pop that in here, but I'm going to show you what I mean. So I have this enhancement turned on right now. I may not have it turned on right here on this scene. Let's see if we have it on a different scene, because I want to show you the difference. And there is a slight difference. Look up table. No, that's not it. It's an enhancement for, okay. Here's where you can see the difference. Okay, see, I have another lower third, that animated thing. Okay, created that. Oh, it is. Lookup table for color and color grading. Let me pop this up so that, because John is like, I know what I'm talking about, girl. Oh, yes, and it's pulling from different color grading. So let me show you the difference. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn it off. So right now it's on. My LUT, my lookup table, is already included in here. if I turn this off, can you see kind of a slight difference? Okay, it's faded out. I'm going to turn it all the way up. See that? How much more color it gave me? So you can add that into Ecamm Live and it gives you this brilliant color. I don't always have mine turned all the way up. Yes, it can be subtle or it can be dramatic. So it's like an Instagram filter. I love that you said that. That makes total sense. John knows what he's talking about. Okay, so again, I'm going to show you again and see if you see the difference. So watch, it's off. So notice how it's a little bit more washed out. So as JP was creating my overlays and my graphics for me, he was like, we need to create an enhancement for you. We need to create that LUT for you. So he then took a picture, or had me take a picture of what I look like in my normal environment with my normal lighting. And then he adjusted it, and it's a file that I uploaded into Ecamm. So here, I'm going to do a demo so you can see where I'm doing this, okay? So let's switch back into live demo mode. All right, now over here under camera effects, I'm going to show you, I have it turned all the way down, and now I'm turning it up. Notice how it's making my pinks brighter. See? See that difference in the quality? So it is. I like to keep it probably right around 3/4 of the way. I don't like to have it too high. And it also depends on the lighting that I'm choosing to use and the time of day as to which level I'm going to have this turned up. Thank you. This is an excellent question. I love these questions. So Lucius Lou, love your camera quality. What camera and lens are you using? I am using a Sony A6400, although I know a lot of people use the Sony EV. But I'm using an A6400 and I've loved it since I've had it. The first one I started out with when I started getting into the expensive cameras was a Canon. I just had a simple old Canon T6i that I was using for doing shots of soccer, soccer video footage and that kind of stuff for my daughter because I was getting her recruited. And after I decided I wanted to upgrade again and let that be my soccer camera, I went to the Sony A6400, and the lens I have is a Sigma. I think it's a 50 millimeter. I'll have to double check that for you, but I think it's a 50. But it's a Sigma. So yeah, my favorite combo, and I actually love this camera more than any of my other cameras I've had, and I've had a lot, but only two Super Pro that I love right now. Now, here's what I want to do. What did I want to show you too? Oh, let me show you these other effects. So here's some other effects that I never use, but they're available. And if it's something you wanted to do, this is the beauty of Ecamm Live, is that you literally can do so much. So when I was saying that your possibilities are endless, I was not joking. Like, you can do a lot. Okay. So you can have a green screen if you choose to. I do have a green screen sitting over there in my studio. I hardly ever use it. I'm going to be pulling it out soon as part of a series of training that I'm going to be doing to teach people how to properly use, right? Zoom backgrounds and other types of backgrounds with quality on their videos. So green screen effect is there. You also have a blurred background effect if you wanted to turn that on. I hardly ever do that. Actually, I've never done it because I don't like it. But then there's also different types of temperatures and tints and saturations. But there's something else I wanted to find, and I'm not seeing it right now for some reason. There it is. Okay, under camera options, you can switch and do a mirror effect. That's weird. Depending on how you like to see yourself, you can change that. Now, most every other platform, including Zoom, will allow you to do that in case you didn't know, and that's what it does. You can change it to black and white and just broadcast yourself in black and white instead of having color. So just think about different themes and reasons why you might want to change up the experience a little bit for people. if you're doing some type of storytelling, and then as you're, getting to this point where you're showing the transformation into becoming the hero that you are, you go back to the color, and then wow, bam. There's lots of things you can do with this. The sepia tone, it has that as well. So I love, love, love. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right, John. So if you have something on your shirt or your cup that you're showing or whatever it might be, and you want to make sure people can read it, Mirror can help you with that too. That's a great use case. I love it. Yeah, this tone is a little bit fun, and it actually makes your skin look really smooth. But still, I don't need it necessarily. And here's that blur effect. So I'll show you this right here. I don't love that because it's the whole video, which I don't want to blur myself. But there may be things that you need to blur. There may be a window, for instance, that you need blurred, a camera that you want that blurred out, or words on a particular screen that you want blurred out. So there might be reasons to use that. So there are so many different things that you can do with this. It was blurring me too. Exactly. That's why I don't use it. But there is an option, by the way. If you just want to blur your background, you can do that. You just need to go to the green screen function up here, and that would allow you to blur your background. So I'll show you real quick here. It's kind of blurring. It's not great. Meh. If I had my green screen truly on and I had a fake background, it would blur that. You would be able to see the effect a little bit more. But there's lots and lots of options. Look at this. So Dan, I think that John is firing a shot here. When Dan comes on as a guest and wants to be anonymous, you can blur his video. Hilarious. Let me see. Yeah, and you're right, John. So John is referring to a studio tour that I have on my website. So yeah, if you want to check it out, if you go to tanyasmith.live, you'll be able to find my studio. I think my tanyasmith.live, I may not have it in this scene. I'm not going to worry about it. But tanyasmith.live, that'll take you to my YouTube channel, and you'll see my studio tour somewhere at the top. So feel free to check it out because there's lots of stuff in there. And I'm going to be rebroadcasting that soon as well and doing another overview because it's one of my more popular requests is people want to see the whole studio, not just the little window that I'm showing you right now. JP really encouraged me to make sure that I did that, as did others here in the feed. So it was fun to do. Okay, let's make sure we turn off live demo mode. And I want to make sure to take your questions. If you have any questions at all about Ecamm Live, I think I've gone through my whole list of 5. Let me double check real quick here and make sure. Let's see. Mac only. We talked about the fact that the core at the heart of the actual platform is that you have the ability to be able to change scenes like a pro. Like it's super, super awesome to be able to do that. You can add your own animations. You can purchase them as a package in your overlays and graphics, all of that. Either you can design yourself or you can have someone design them for you. Just make sure if you're designing them yourself that you understand sizes and dimensions and those type of things. You can actually add multiple cameras. You can have comments popping on the screen. You can have, there's so much, y'all. You can have different type sizes and shapes now of overlays. There are lots and lots of functions. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention. So when you multi-stream, when you're streaming to multiple destinations at one time, which means, for instance, I'm broadcasting right now to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Those are my typical 3 that I'm heavy into, right? So when you do that, you can do so inside of and from within Ecamm Live without any other platforms. Now, I tend to use Restream to do it just because I like the backup of having Restream, 1, and then 2, it's very resource intensive on your computer when you are broadcasting to multiple spaces using Ecamm. So you want to look at, they have something that's known as a speed test. Okay, there's a speed test. So when you get ready to set up your live stream, I love that Ecamm Live. I used to have to go to speedtest.net to make sure that my speed was up and running, like I would shut down and restart right before my live, and then I double check and do speedtest.net to make sure, okay, I look like I'm at the speed that I should be. Well, Ecamm will give you that knowledge like right ahead. So there's a little bar right near where you're actually adding your different streaming destinations. And depending on the number of streaming destinations that you're trying to broadcast to, it's going to say, hey, you're broadcasting to 3 places. You're going to need 25.5 Mbps's or whatever, right? And it's going to show up green if your internet looks like it's testing at a decent rate for you to be able to do this. But it will turn red and say, nope, you don't have the internet capacity to do this. It'll tell you that typically ahead of time. But you want to be watching that before you actually go live, especially if you're going to be doing multiple destinations. Now, if you're just doing it to one, it's not that big of a deal. Usually it's going to be green. But if you're trying to broadcast to several places, I still think, for me personally, that using Restream as my conduit is the best way to do that. So either Restream or OneStream Live can allow you to broadcast into Ecamm and then through all the different channels and destinations from their platforms, but using your Ecamm. Here's the other thing I didn't say and I need to say. Yes, this is important. If you're using Ecamm Live, something else that you need to know that's really cool. You don't always have to go live. Like you can just record, but there's also another little quick hitter tip. For those of you who are doing a lot of Zoom meetings, and that's me, I've done a lot of other meetings and keynotes and workshops virtually, and usually most people are using something like Zoom. You can use Ecamm Live's virtual mic and virtual camera feature that's built in. So the virtual camera becomes its own webcam. It acts like its own webcam in another platform. So when I go live in Zoom, I can bring all the magical animations and graphics and things that you see on screen here on my Ecamm over into the Zoom platform, because in Zoom, I've selected Ecamm as my camera instead of my Sony a6400 as my camera. How cool is that? So that will make you stand out far above the crowd if you're doing something like that, because then you're able to bring all the fun stuff that you get inside of Ecamm over into your Zoom presentation. You're welcome. Y'all, when I first figured that out, I was like, oh my God, my Zooms are going to be live. People are not going to know what to do with themselves. I know. Yeah, and I see some in Facebook groups where people have like I know, and ask how to go live, and you're like, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, look, there's one thing I want to tell y'all, and this is not just with Ecamm, it's really with any type of live streaming. If you're going to be consistently live streaming, you need to find a way to upgrade your internet speed. Make sure that your speed is up to par. And I will tell you, I fought this for like a year, maybe even close to 2 years, because I kept calling my internet service and they were like, well, yeah, you're fine. You should be fine. There shouldn't be a problem on our end. But meanwhile, I'm talking to the different streaming platforms and their support, and they're like, yeah, you're not fast enough. We can see it. Like we're seeing your pings and we're seeing you're dropping packets is what they call it. I won't get into the technical, but basically I was not fast enough and it was not robust enough internet to be able to hold the live streams I was trying to do to all these multiple destinations. So if you find yourself glitching, if you see that you're blurry, if you think things are slow, if it cuts out, one of the things you definitely want to check into is, am I prepped by having the proper type of internet service, and is my speed up to par? And there's other things you can do as well, but ultimately it's something you're going to have to look into technically, because it may not be the platform. It's probably not your Restream or your StreamYard or your Ecamm. It may be that it's your internet service. Yeah, and like John said, most internet companies are designed for people who watch Netflix, not for people who are going live. So that means not only your internet speed, but also the computer that you have. If you got a computer that is dated back to 1999, and I have had clients that have said, well, I got this old PC. And I'm like, we can try it. Let's see. But let's test just on our own first and let's see what happens. You need to have up to date as much as you can. If you're going to be live streaming regularly, you need to think about, from a budgeting standpoint, what does that mean? And so we probably need to do a whole training on budgeting for live streaming. So I'm going to make a mental note of that and add that to my list. But let's do a training on that so that we can actually talk through the things that you need to consider. And it doesn't mean if it's your first live or your first month of doing lives. I'm not talking about that, because I want you to build up that confidence muscle by getting on camera in spite of all the other extra stuff. But if you're going to go into the pro mode, if you're going to be like, okay, I'm live streaming, like this is my jam, and I'm doing this to sell my courses, and I'm doing this to promote, my programs, and I'm doing this for whatever reason, then you need to think about, like, what can I do? Thank you, Dan. You got to think about, what can I do to elevate my game? And part of that means that you've got to start thinking about strategically, what does that look like? The more you can invest in yourself, the more you're going to showcase yourself in a way that looks really presentable and professional, and more than likely, people will be more willing to hire you for the services that you offer. These are things to think about, but it's not straight out of the gate. Okay, this is something you're going to think about over time as you find yourself saying, yes, I do want to do more live stream marketing. I do see that I can be on video, and I'm getting more and more comfortable every time I get on camera. Because when I first started, I was using the webcam that was built into my laptop, and I was using a really crazy set of microphones that were super cheap. And I also had like the little earbuds, which I still every now and then, they're not earbuds, but they're lavalier mic attached underneath my shirt. And I use that as my mic. There are things you're going to do. You're going to rig it such that you can get yourself into the mode of being committed and consistent. But over time, if this becomes a thing for you and it's something you want to do and you want to know how to do it well, keep watching us at tanyasmith.live. I'm on YouTube at Stream Like a Boss TV, okay? Watch us. Sign up for my different programs. I give generously in all of my programs. We did a couple of workshops in the last couple of months. Live Stream to Leads was one. We just did Repurpose Like a Boss and had a blast in a 3-hour boot camp. I've got several other programs that are coming out in mid-August. You're not going to want to miss out. And if Stream Bosses Academy is the right space for you, you'll know that. And if you don't know it and you want to meet with me to talk about it, that information will be on my website as well. So there are ways for you to get help. I just want to make sure you know that. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you. So there's my website, getnoticedwithvideo.com. And I'm also at streamlikeaboss.tv. That's where you'll see our schedule and see what we got going on. Yes, absolutely, John. We got to get comfortable on camera and the microphone. That's step one. And know that it's something we want to do before we start spending all that money, because there is a level of expense involved as you start adding things up, right? It's sort of like LTDs, lifetime deals. You know how we go and we pay, oh, this is a lifetime deal. I'm just paying one time $300. And by the time you get done, you spent like $1,200, $2,500, all on these lifetime deals and not even using them all. So I don't want you to get into that particular situation with gear, because gear can be even pricier. And we did a panel called Geek Out on Gear last week, which I will be showcasing again as a encore on this coming Thursday. In fact, both of my panels, let me thank the folks who were on those panels because they were so much fun. Let me thank you all too for coming and hanging out with me in live stream summer school every week in the month of June and July. We did miss a week. That was during my little medical mishap, but I just appreciate you showing up and being here. And I hope you learned something. So if you are signed up at livestreamsummerschool.com and you registered, at the end of this event, you're going to actually get a little survey. I'd love for you to fill out that short and quick and simple survey and give me a shout out and let me know what you thought about it. I would love that. Yeah, I know. Look, we need to have a whole show. I have a new domain. I'm not going to share with people yet, but I'm thinking about doing a podcast just about business systems, automation, LTDs, and all the tech stuff that we all buy for our businesses and don't use properly and fully to the max. I need to do a show about that and have invited guests. So I'm going to be working on that. I'll share more with you. But first, we're going to be wrapping up our live stream summer school tonight. And then August 14th, we'll be opening the doors to all of our programs. I've revamped just about everything inside of our programs for Get Noticed with Video. So our quiz, our academy, our content creators cafe, there's stuff coming, y'all. I'm super excited. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You think I should do the podcast? Okay, I'm working on it. I just got like 1,000 things in the fire right now. But I am working on, I know, rehab. Look, inside of the academy, we were talking the other day and calling ourselves Apps Anonymous. Hi, my name is Tanya and I'm an app addict. I think a lot of us are. You fit right in, Ratelia, for real. And yeah, I know, John, it is a problem. It's not a problem. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. AppSumo Anonymous, I know, right? So many things, but I have found some amazing deals. The thing we have to be careful about, which I'll say this about Content Fries, I was sharing with a lot of you that Content Fries has been a go-to for me for repurposing video. But we did get an email. So if you have that app, if you got that platform, you want to check out the email and read the print where it's talking about how they want to protect the LTDs. But it looks like they've been bought out maybe by another company. I don't understand quite what the move itself means, but you'll want to read through that and interpret it for yourself if you have that app. Thank you, John. Thank you for coming and for being a part of it and for sharing your wisdom and nuggets all the time. You're amazing. Each and every one of you is amazing. I thank you, and I am just so grateful that I get to be on live every week with you. I am planning on doing a whole lot of training and teaching for regular school time through our live streaming. And I am excited that I get a chance to connect with you. We will take a break this Thursday, but I'm going to do an encore presentation of a couple of the different favorites that we had from our live stream summer school while I'm in the background working on preparing the final steps and things for the launch. So take care of yourselves. If you have questions on anything I've shared about Ecamm, remember you can go and look up Ecamm Live. As a matter of fact, here's my link one more time. I think I have it in here somewhere. If you have any questions about Ecamm and you want to know more, let me know. But I also need to share with you, I forgot, I almost didn't do this. So there's a friend. There's someone who I trust, and I think he has an amazing Ecamm Live school, and I want to share his link with you. I'm not going to be creating a training anytime soon on Ecamm because I cannot do all the things right now. But Adrian Salisbury is amazing and has Ecamm Live Academy. So what you'll want to do is go to his Academy link. I'm going to pop it up for you right now. This is my affiliate link for Ecamm Live Academy. I fully believe in the program. I have been through it twice myself. And thank you. Okay, so I got stuff I need to mention, and thank goodness I got people like Tech Troublemaker in the house. So he reminded me that today is actually the last day for 30% off sale for Ecamm Live. I thought it might have been yesterday, Roy, but if it's today, then that's good. Because if you all haven't been to pick up Ecamm Live yet, first of all, here's the school. So you see the school. And then secondly, I want to make sure that you know that you can go to tanyasmith.link/ecamm, and you'll get that 30% off if it's still showing up on their screen. So that's from their Facebook page. Okay. Yeah, I know for sure it's been going on, but I don't know if it still applies. So y'all are going to want to check the page. If so, the one at the top, this one is to the Ecamm website, and this is where you can sign up for the platform. Check and see if the 30% off sale is still on. This one down below is to the school, the academy. So Adrian Salisbury teaches you how to use Ecamm, and he teaches it in a very structured, kind of laid back way. You can participate if they have a live version of it. You can participate in a group that they have on Facebook and really, really dive into all the features. And it's a lot. So it's not like a one-day class. It's over about a week, maybe even longer, 2-week period of time. But he breaks it down into bite-sized lessons and then talks through it in a live training. So it's worth it, in my opinion, to take a look at investing in that if you're going to invest in Ecamm. Okay. Thank y'all for letting me know, for reminding me not to leave people hanging. All right, y'all. That's it. It's been fun. Live stream summer school. And, let's see. So Valerie, my dear friend Valerie, Aging with Grace and Style, the podcast, says that the email said it ended on the 30th, but maybe they extended because today is the 31st. So y'all definitely check it out and make sure. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. But I will see you next week for our regular programming. It's just this week I need a little bit of a break, and I need to finish up getting programs ready for you so that we can really do things right for you, right? I want to create something amazing where you can learn and you can grow. We're going to be relaunching our live stream to leads course. It is a live hybrid course, similar to what I just talked about with Ecamm Academy, where we'll be meeting live, and then you also have the on-demand lessons. In addition to that, I have Stream Bosses Academy, of course. I'm reopening the doors for that. And now we're going to have Content Creators Cafe, which is going to be our fun spot for co-working and collaborative virtual time to get video content done. Okay. More to come on all of that. But take care. Have a good night. And thanks once again for watching. I will see you next time in the stream.